And for this free video, the first free coaching video of the year, I'd like to talk a little bit about keeping to resolutions, decisions and vows. Now of course, actually you can do this at any time of year. It just happens to be that it's particularly topical often for people at the beginning of the year, and apparently there is this point about now in mid-January, as I'm speaking, where people are most likely to break resolutions. But if you happen to be listening to this at some point other than January, the same points still apply, because it's in the nature of making a resolution that there's a particular dynamic that can work against you but can be made to work for you, and that's what this video is all about. So the thing about making a resolution to change is that there's you here and there's the you want to be over here. I'm waggling my hands around, there we go. Yeah, okay. And the you want to be is by definition different to the you over here. So some change has to take place between the you here and the you want to be in order for the resolution to stick and take hold. Agreed? And the problem that people face is that when they first set the resolution and they say, I want to be this person over here, how marvellous that will be. It's all shiny and exciting and wonderful. But when they actually get into the process of moving towards that and of beginning to change, they realise that actually they have to change a little bit as a person, perhaps a lot as a person, in order to get to this new version of themselves. So it's the realisation that the person who represents the new you is actually different that can be painful and that can lead to a resolution being broken roughly about the same amount of time after it starts as we're getting to now, if you happen to make a resolution on January the 1st. So what to do in order to use this dynamic of becoming a different person to your advantage? Well, what a lot of people try and do, and I emphasise the word try because there's a lot of effort involved often, is to bust through these feelings of, oh, if I just tried a little bit harder, I could do this, I could turn into this person. And the harder they try and the more they bust, the worse it seems, and eventually the resolution gets broken. Or sometimes, if it's the kind of resolution where it's keeping up a new habit, a daily habit, it's, oh well, I've broken it once, that may as well be it. Think cream cakes or cigarettes in that context. So, tips for keeping to the resolution start with, if you happen to have one little slip, don't worry about it. Just consider yourself as still being on the road from being the person you were to the person you want to be. If it's the kind of thing where you really can feel yourself changing or feeling yourself resisting that change, consider this. There is more than one way to make that change, and you can change easily and naturally. Just to give you an example, so I'm actually going to give you an example from a movie I saw recently. If you've seen it too, it's called Run, Fat Boy, Run, that's it. And it's actually about a chap running a marathon, or actually walking a marathon as it ends up, but anyway. And as marathon runner people do, apparently, I've never run one so I don't know, but apparently everyone says this is true, he encountered this thing called the wall. And apparently the wall in running is what sets in after X number of miles when you just feel you can't go any further. Well, you don't really need to have been running to feel a wall coming up at certain points in any resolution or change. But anyway, in this film, in this movie, he hits the wall, and rather wonderfully, cinematically, the film is directed so that you actually see a sort of metaphorical visual representation of the wall, and the wall is standing there, and it's huge, and it's tall, and he tries to bust through it, he tries to be all physical and go, I will run through this, and of course he's got no energy left, he's got no wherewithal left to do that, and just as he's about to give up, the little crack in the wall appears, a tiny crack, and one of the bricks falls out of the wall. This is all in his imagination, of course, but nonetheless it works. And through the wall, the metaphorical wall, he sees himself, but he sees a future version of himself who does complete this marathon and does carry on. And it is that inspiration that enables him to carry on and to make it, well, in case you haven't seen the movie, I won't spoil it, but it enables him to carry on. And so applying all this to you, you may be thinking, oh, this is all fit and fine, but how does this apply to me? I've got this resolution I want to keep, and there is a wall, and it feels really difficult. First of all, be easy on yourself. If there are any slips, they're part of the road, they're part of the journey, they're part of what it takes to move forward. They're all part of it, you're still moving forward. If it seems very hard, it's okay just to take it one brick at a time and do the next tiniest thing that it takes to move forward. But most of all, my invitation to you is to get in touch with that future self of yours who has succeeded with this and knows exactly what it takes, not only to make this resolution, but to keep it, and to keep it to such an extent that it becomes an everyday and natural part of your life. How do you do that? Well, there are long processes and short processes, but here's a short one. And that is, first of all, for you just to take a nice, deep breath and to imagine in front of you that you see and you're aware of the future version of yourself who really is carrying out their life exactly as you want to, and really make them vivid and really make them powerful. And if you want to, actually move to step into their shoes so that you're in the space that they were in front of you. But in whatever way feels right for you, allow them to become a part of you and know what it feels like actually all ready to have this resolution under your belt. And stay with that for as long as you need before coming back into the position you were to begin with, the everyday you, the you who's in the now, but who now has the knowledge of what it's like to have this resolution just as a normal part of life. And that knowledge and that feeling is something that you can carry with you to take you past and through any walls, any gaps, any breaks, any barriers, much more easily than you might otherwise have done before.